What's up, everybody? You are tuned into the Shotgun Sports Network 2025 CFL Draft Special. My name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X. Apparently, our unofficial sponsor for this year's episode is Halls once again. I don't know how this has happened. I thought I was going to be out of the woods here on this illness, but I guess we are not. So, very fun times. So once again, thanks a lot for tuning in today. As we know, it's a very, very big draft today, CFL draft. It's a very exciting time of the year. Now, maybe not the most exciting for the Edmonton Elks this year, considering that the Elks do not have a first-round draft pick. Last year, they did have a draft pick in the first round. They actually had first overall draft pick. That ended up yielding Joel DeBlanco. So Joel DeBlanco, very big pickup last year. We're going to talk about his impact with the Double E over the last year. We also do have a couple other topics today. We're going to talk about the CFL mock draft that we participated in with Alouette Central, Stampeders Roundup, Argos Fancast, and a couple other gems. So we're going to talk about that here in just a bit. We're also going to talk a little bit about the new CFL commissioner as well. That was some big news that came out near the end of the month there. So, and then of course, off season, the Edmonton Elks. They did have a bit of a notable off season here, a couple notable pickups. So that's going to be something that we're going to talk about as well. So I mean, we got it on TV here. This is a watch party. Make sure you get the CFL draft on TV, especially if you're up here in Canada. Apparently, our friends down in America are having a hard time tuning into the draft. So I thought that was going to be on CFL Plus this year. No clue why it isn't. It's a little bit confusing. I think you kind of want to get some reach on that. And considering everybody likes to share that Simpsons graphic every year, you'd think that it'd be a little bit more accessible. So we'll see how that goes as well. We got a herd chat open today. As you can see, it's a little bit of a different branding. I'm also up here upstairs. This is the last day that we're in this location, and we have a new studio that we're going to be building just in time for our season premiere next Wednesday, May 7th. So that's going to be when the Elks herd officially returns with the Elks Call Season 3. Very excited about that one. Going to be really stoked to bring everybody a new studio, give everybody a new look, and to get another season going of the Elks Call. If you are in the herd chat, so we're going to call this a herd chat today. Drop a comment in the herd chat. Get your comment in onto the show, and this is interactive. We do this to make sure that we all get to interact with each other. It's been a hot minute since we've done a live episode as well. I think it's been over a month now, so it's always good just getting on the airwaves here. All right, so Calgary Stampeders are number 1 in the 2025 draft order, first overall pick. If we look at, like we were talking about the CFL mock draft that we did. So Alouette Central ended up hosting a CFL draft 2025. We participated in this last year. I think the very obvious pick was always going to be Joel DeBlanco at number 1 last year. Past that, I think we didn't have any picks that were correct to the teams. So, I mean, we're going to see this year if any of these picks line up with what's happening on this TV over here. And I had to get this TV out of view just so that, we didn't have any copyright issues today. So let's take a look at this CFL draft here. We're looking at this mock draft that we did. Stampeders Roundup actually ended up selecting Connor Shea, linebacker from Wyoming, as first overall. I think that's a big potential first here. A lot of people are projecting that Connor Shea goes first overall. So we'll see if that happens today. Calgary Stampeders, they actually have 2 picks in today's CFL draft. 2 picks in the first round, that is. Reason for that is because the BC Lions screwed up and went way over cap. I believe there's also, I think they went over it a couple ways. I don't know the exact particulars off the top of my head right now, but they did have to give up one of their picks to the Calgary Stampeders. Little bit of debate on if that was really necessary. I think some people were calling for a change. Some people are looking for a little bit of a change in the rule book there. So, but Connor Shea, first overall, that's where we're projected. Stuart Johnson, the new CFL commissioner, is on right now. Talk a bit more about him in a bit. Next up, Eating Them Raw podcast. They ended up actually selecting in this mock draft. They selected for the Hamilton Tiger Cats at second overall, Darian Newell, D-line. So that's going to be a name to keep an eye out for here. Third overall, we have Red Blacks News, Jackson Finley, defensive back. Number 4, Hayden Harris, O-line for Saskatchewan. That was Coach Phil making that pick. Coach Phil always goes good stuff. Go check him out. Coach Phil Reacts. At number 5, Alouette Central, representing the Alouettes, ended up selecting Jeremiah Ojo. So defensive line. At number 6 overall, representing the Bombers, we have Bombers Paradise selecting Keelan White, receiver. At number 7, Tiger Shanks, offensive line. That would be by the Argos fan cast representing the Toronto Argonauts. And then at 8th overall for the Calgary Stampeders, Stamps Roundup selected Damian Alford, receiver. So that's the first round of our CFL mock draft. Once again, Connor Shea at first, Darian Newell at second, Jackson Finley at third, Hayden Harris at fourth, Jeremiah Ojo at fifth, Keelan White at sixth, Tiger Shanks at seventh, and then Damian Alford at eighth. So that's the order that we had selected on this mock draft. Let us know in the comments, in the herd chat. Let us know what you think. Did we get it right? Are we going to see these line up here today with the official CFL draft? I don't know. And then in the second round, let's go through these second round picks here. The Stampeders are officially on the clock right now with the first overall pick, by the way. So the Stampeders are on the clock. Are they going to select? Let's get through this first pick here before we move on through our mock draft. Is Connor Shea going to go first overall? Now, I will say if the Edmonton Elks even did have a pick in this first round, I mean, we're probably looking at selecting a D-line, offensive line, or a defensive back. As it stands, Ed Hervey likes to build through the trenches, so expect offensive line and defensive line. Kind of expect those. We're gonna see a little bit of a remodel, especially on the defensive line for the Edmonton Elks this year. Now, mind you, once again, they do not have a pick in the first round this year, so doesn't really matter. Joel DeBlanco. Let's take a look at Joel DeBlanco's stats because I think that's a little bit interesting as well. We kind of thought that he was going to come in as an immediate impact player, especially with that first overall. What we did see though is that he came in and moved into a special teams role, and I mean he did all right. I don't think he did exactly fantastic or spectacular or anything. He's also getting acclimated to Canadian football as well. All right, commercial break on the TV. Stats. Let's take a look here. So with Edmonton, Joe DeBlanco had 18 games. Pardon me. 18 games that he started, and only had 2 solo tackles, 2 total tackles. Um, didn't exactly play a massive role on the team last year. There's reasons for that. One of them is that he had Nick Anderson grabbing Rookie of the Year in front of him. Nick Anderson, also a different linebacker as well. Yeah, Nick Anderson ended up having a fantastic year last year. He's also playing with Niles Morgan. Niles Morgan's out there. You're not gonna be able to bump Niles Morgan while he's in that spot. You kind of have to really outplay him. It's tough to find a proper spot for Joel DeBlanco in the starting defense for the Edmonton Elks. So the stats here, they show more of that special teams role. Had 2 tackles last year. Probably going to see more production. It would be nice to see Joe DeBlanco take, an increased role with the Edmonton Elks, say, in the in the 2025 and 2026 season. And that's also going to depend too what's happening with Nick Anderson, what injuries are the team are the team dealing with. Which obviously we would hope that there's not any injuries. Once again, we'll have to see what happens there. All right, what do we got? Here we go. First overall pick. Damian Alford, first overall. Damian Alford goes first overall. Wow. So interesting. So Stampeders Roundup, Jason Basic over at Stampeders Roundup had Damian Alford at 8th. And he has now gone at first overall. Wide receiver. Utah. From Montreal, Quebec. 6'6", 215 pounds. Just wild. So there we go. Bit of a shocker to start the CFL draft. Damian Alford. Wow. Her chat, let us know. Throw it in there. Did you think Damian Alford was going to go first overall in the CFL draft? That is crazy. Crazy. Interesting that Stampeders Roundup in our mock draft took Damian Alford at 8th overall. Connor Shea, first overall. Damian Alford at 8th. Still managed to grab him. Hey, thanks, Danny. Appreciate it, buddy. Thanks, Danny. Shout out to Danny Sanchez in the herd chat with the happy birthday. That's awesome. Yes, it just so happens to be my birthday, and we are live with this CFL draft special. Just fantastic. So yeah, first overall, Damian Alford, crazy. We already have a little bit of a shocker here. Wild. I also like too, Stuart Johnson has already got his face out there as the new CFL commissioner. Let's talk a little bit about Stuart Johnson here. So I think there is a little bit of concern with TSN owning the main broadcasting rights for the CFL. I think there's a little bit of concern that maybe this would mean that TSN gets let off the hook a little bit, or we don't see the product quite improve like we wish. Sometimes we do hear that CFL, TSN, there could be better deals there. We could be getting a better product out of it. Obviously, we know that it's a pretty big money deal, but the biggest problem is that the product seems to be stagnant on TV. It's the same CFL year in, year out on TSN, right? But from what I've gathered, Stuart Johnson coming in might actually make a difference. Stuart Johnson seems to be a massive CFL fan, one of the biggest CFL fans out there, as he's professed. 15th commissioner total of the Canadian Football League. This league does not have many commissioners. It's not like there's commissioners in and out here. So far, I mean, we haven't seen any product. We can't really gauge how he's doing already. It is good to see his face out here for the CFL draft, obviously. You sure hope that the commissioner is going to be there for the CFL draft. It's a very big deal. Hamilton Tiger Cats are on the clock. Connor Shea is still available. So this is where Eat 'em Raw podcast had Darian Newell. Now we're looking at a scenario where they could grab Connor Shea if they think that he will be playing right away. Now, there is also NFL interest on Connor Shea. So that's the other problem that we're dealing with too. Now, another player I'd like to talk about, Taylor Elgersman. He had very, very big notice. When it came to the NFL Combine and the NFL Draft. We thought we saw his name was going to get pulled, and it did not. Danny Sanchez here does have a question. Not a dumb question. Where do CFL players get drafted from the NCAA? Where do CFL players get drafted from the NCAA? It could be anywhere as long as they're Canadian. Danny. That's it. If they have dual citizenship or have Canadian citizenship to any degree, they can get drafted. So, Curtis Rourke probably going to get drafted from the, Indiana Hoosiers. So that's a thing. So never a dumb question, buddy. Jason Basic, you are announcing, Puck and Pigskin. Puck and Pigskin Stampeders Roundup. You are announcing picks faster than CFL live draft tracker. Good. Apologies. This episode, once again, unofficially brought to you by Halls. Hamilton's still on the clock here. Still waiting to see what's going on. Still waiting for this pick, unfortunately. But yeah, Stuart Johnson as the new CFL commissioner. I think there's some good hope. I think that there's definitely some hope. I hope that maybe we see some streaming deals. Maybe we see Netflix try to get in there. Maybe we see Amazon try to get in there. That would be fantastic. I would love to see, other networks as opposed to just TSN put their name in the hat. Let's get some competition for this great product, the CFL, this great league. Now, if only there were like a Canadian-based streaming service that really wanted to get in there, I think that would be maybe something that tips the scales. For now, TSN is our biggest one. No pick yet. Herd chat, let us know. Let us know what you think. Is Stuart Johnson the right pick? Do you have hope? Are you frustrated? Did you want somebody else? Let us know in the herd chat what you think. So Puck and Pigskin, Stampeders Roundup, Jason Basic here, did manage to get the right man, just at the wrong pick. Next pick is in. Linebacker from Windsor, Devin Verisuk. So Devin Verisuk at number 2. We actually had him at number 12 in our mock draft. Crazy. Linebacker. Number 12, Ottawa Redblacks in the mock draft. Number 2 in our number 2 in the official CFL draft. Wild. Connor Shea, still available, linebacker. Crazy. Wild. So teams are definitely not going with the typical order here. That's for sure. They're going with an as need basis. Now Jalen Smith was also projected to go ahead at number 9. Eating them raw. Podcast representing the Hamilton Tiger Cats had Jalen Smith, linebacker, projected to go ahead of Devin Barasek, and instead they grabbed the Hamilton Tiger Cats, grabbed him at number 2 overall, 2nd overall. Sorry, just opening a window here, if I can, if it's possible. Oh, and it is. And we got a window open. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us today. Jason and Red here, CFL Live Draft Tracker still hasn't updated with the 1st overall pick. They behind. Well, since we're already grabbing 2nd round mock draft picks, let's talk about this mock draft a little bit more. So, in the 2nd round here, at 9th overall, Jalen Smith, Eating Them Raw podcast, Hamilton Tiger Cats. At 10th overall, the Edmonton Elks select Ali Saad, D-line, represented by the Elks herd. Number 11, Eric Anderson, offensive line by Canadian Football Fanatics. And then number 12, Devin Barasek, lineback, Red Blacks News. Number 13, Delano Robinson, linebacker, Coach Phil, representing Saskatchewan. Number 14, Christopher Fortin, O-line, Alouette Central. Number 15, Taylor Elgersma, quarterback by Bombers Paradise, representing the Bombers. Number 16, Paris Shan, D-line, Argos Fancast. Number 17, Mac Bannatyne, D-back, Stamps Roundup. Sorry, everybody, for the coughs. I apologize. This is very similar to last year. Number 18, Ethan Bieber, O-line, Bombers Paradise. Number 19, Ethan Jordan, receiver, Canadian Football Fanatics. So that's in the 2nd round of the mock draft. We're still waiting for the 3rd overall pick here. Devin Barasek just went at 2nd overall, linebacker, selected by the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Jason and Red Deer, what are your thoughts on the new CFL Commissioner Stuart Johnson? I think Stuart Johnson is a step in the right direction. Like I said, I was concerned a little bit. I thought that TSM was kind of going to get off the hook. It was kind of in that camp. You never really want to see somebody, like it kind of just seemed like a conflict of interest, right? In my opinion, anyways. As time goes on, I'm feeling a lot more comfortable about that pick. I just really want to see some competition for these TSN rights, the streaming rights. I'd like to see that open up, not just TSN. Let's get some Amazon in there. Let's get other companies kind of competing for this landscape. That would be fantastic. Yeah, right now, yeah, they are saying that Keelan White, who's projected to go maybe around 6, they're saying that there's a big drop off in receiver after Keelan White. So it's only 2 real good receivers, and then there is a bit of a drop off here in this draft. That's as per Farhan. Really apologize for the coughs today, everybody. Once again, we're going to get through this first round. We'll see if we make it to the Edmonton Elks second round. I don't know if they're going to televise the second round. They may not. Mind you, we're only 2 picks in, and it's already been a half an hour. So we'll see. All right. Yeah, so Taylor Elgersma. I mean, it'll be interesting to see where he goes today. Him and Curtis Rourke. Think here, Curtis Rourke actually goes at 21st overall, 3rd round in our CFL mock draft. Second pick in the 3rd round. Curtis Rourke, as we know, had a really good season down south in the NCAA. Well, not quite NCAA, but in CFB in college. College football down in the States is just something completely different, right? So yeah, I mean Curtis Rourke was able to slang it. Believe who did he get selected by in the NFL draft? I want to say he was 7th round, and can't think off the top of my head who Curtis Rourke got picked up. I'm gonna feel stupid because I should know it. 49ers. That's right. So what kind of hope does Curtis Rourke have in actually sticking with that roster? Does he get PR'd? Does he eventually do what Nathan Rourke did and come up here, come back to Canada? I would say that's probably really plausible. I think that Curtis Rourke could come back up to Canada. I think Taylor Elgersma could as well. Elgersma did not get selected in the draft, but he played for Laurier, the Wilfrid Laurier Golden Hawks. And he had a fantastic season, but then he also leveled up with each camp that he went to on his way to the NFL draft. He did not get selected, but he already has a workout scheduled with, I believe, like the Jets and the Packers. I know for sure the Packers, second team off the top of my head, not quite sure. And no pick selected yet. Ottawa is on the clock. Now, this is where Red Blacks News has Jackson Finley at defensive back. They have him being selected there. Not sure why they're showing the Riders' war room right now. So the draft is supposed to run until 6 o'clock. I will say Damian Alford, first overall. That is a surprise. And then Verisak at second overall, also a little bit of a surprise. So I have a feeling, we're not going to have many of these correct on the mock draft. Very, very interesting. Hear all the action outside more than likely, which is hilarious. Little zoom in action. Well, let's talk about the third round in our mock draft here. I have a feeling, like I said, none of these are going to be similar to what we are actually going to see here in the CFL draft. Big shout out to everybody for tuning in today. This is a very on-the-fly CFL draft special. It's supposed to be a little bit of a bigger production here. Fortunately, a lot of our members could not make it, which is all good. I'm also a little bit under the weather still, so it's the way she goes. Sometimes she goes, sometimes she don't. That's just the way she goes. So, at number 20 overall in the third round, Connor Clausen, offensive line. Number 20, that is from Stamps Roundup, Jason Basic. At 21st overall, Eating 'em Raw podcast, representing the Ticats, as Curtis Rourke, quarterback. Number 22, the Elks Herd has Eric Cumberbatch, defensive back. Yes, you are here digitally, Jason. You are here. It is all good, my friend. 23, Alouette Central has Nate Boschman. At number 24, at offensive line, Elks Herd has selected Arvin Hosseini. Number 25, Coachville representing the Saskatchewan Rough Riders, Samuel Carson, offensive line. At number 26, we have Anton High, defensive back, selected by Alouette Central. Number 27, Silas Hubert, defensive line, Bombers Paradise. Then number 28, Isaiah Knight, running back, selected by Eating 'em Raw, representing those Ticats. Colin Chase here in the Herd Chat asks, who did the Elks select? Unfortunately, we don't even get to select in this first round. This is like a nothing burger for us Elks fans. This whole 2-hour special, absolutely nothing for Elks fans. Very disappointing, I will say. And I want to say we don't have a first round selection because we grabbed Zach Mathis in the supplemental draft. So because we went ahead and selected a supplemental draftee last year, that was Chris Jones, by the way. May I remind you, that was a Chris Jones move. Because we made that move, no first round selection for us. Very disappointing. Now, I will say, is it that much of a loss? The Double E did a lot of off-season upgrades. Did I miss a pick? Oh, I did miss a pick. How did we miss a pick, everybody? Was he worth losing the pick? That's a good. I like that question, Colin. I like that question. In my opinion, he could be. I don't think we've seen his full potential yet. We have seen Trey Ford already connect with him. So we have seen Trey Ford make a play or two with Zach Mathis out there. Really, who would we have picked up this year that could have been a major game changer in this draft? It's tough. Damian Alford went first overall. Second overall, like we said, that was Devin Barisic at linebacker. We just selected a linebacker at first overall last year. We're targeting O-line, D-line, and D-backs. That's what I have here for the Edmonton Elks. I don't work for the team. I don't work in football ops or anything like that. So unfortunately, take it for what it is. But I do think that the team should be going for more of the O-line and D-line. I'm also trying to think of Ed Hervey and what he likes to do. He likes to build out the trenches, right? There you go, Ali Saad. Ali. So that was our pick. This is at number 4 for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, officially off the board. That is who I wanted. So if we had kept the pick, what would we have selected at? We would have been selecting around 3rd or 4th, second to 4th, somewhere in there. We could have had Ali Saad, which is who I had selected at 10th overall in the 2nd round. I really hope this guy would have slid to 10th overall. Riders were smart; they grabbed him. So yeah, crazy. Great pick by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I just want to see who we missed here. I was doing a lot of talking and ended up missing our 3rd overall pick here. Oh, wide receiver, stop! So Ottawa grabbed a wide receiver at 3rd overall. Keelan White. So Keelan White, wide receiver, went at 3rd overall. That's where the panel was just saying, Farhan was just saying that there is a significant drop-off in receivers after Keelan White. So the last good receiver in this 1st round is gone. Potentially even in the draft, like really strong anyways. I'm not going to say good. There's potential, right? There's potential everywhere. Now, call in here. If we had kept the pick, what would we have selected at? I know I just said 2nd to 4th. I think that's fairly accurate. I'd have to take a look at the hard standings and see exactly where we fell. But I think it's somewhere between there. And I mean, yeah, grabbing Ali Saad early. I really, really wanted that pick. I think he's going to be a D lineman that I think he's going to be a lineman that actually does make an impact here right away. Colin, don't worry, my friend. I missed the 2015 days as well. I think a lot of fans do. Mike Riley, Fred Stamps, everybody. Yes, I completely agree. Those were the good old days. We got to get back there. Ed Hervey's very determined to get back there too. It's going to be a good season. I think that this team is taking another step in the right direction. I think the Ford brothers are really going to make an impact on and off the field. I think we're going to see some good community support. I think we're going to see people rally around this team a little bit more. I think we're going to see better performance on the field. Keeping Trey Ford was very, very important. Almost as important as bringing in Tyrell Ford, I think, as well. Hard to say. Maybe whoever grabbed Trey Ford potentially could have had Tyrell Ford as well. So it's hard to say how that negotiation ever would have went. We know how it went now. we know that the green and gold managed to get them both. So I think that's going to be something special to build on. And I think the biggest goal is to just get back to the playoffs this year. If we can get back to the playoffs, we're laughing. Home game, that would be even better. It would be amazing. So we'll have to stay tuned on that for sure. Yeah, this is the CFL draft is already making some waves. Coach Phil at 4th overall had Hayden Harris, offensive line, being selected. Connor Shea still on the board. Apparently, there are only 4 critical quarterbacks as per Naylor and Farhan here. So 4 very, very notable quarterbacks available. Canadian, that is. And the last solid quarterback, the last quarterback to be drafted in the CFL draft, Trey Board. Who before that? Nathan Rourke. Expect to see Elgersma and Curtis Rourke taken today. I always forget that Brad Sinobly was a quarterback. That's such a weird. I don't think he played quarterback very long. In the CFL, that is. All right. We got Montreal on the clock here. A big shout out to you, the viewer, for tuning in today. Little episode almost brought to you by Halls. Should maybe talk to them about a sponsorship, considering every year at around this time of year, I'm out with something. Oh, here we go. Tiger Shanks off the board. Offensive lineman, UNLV. Tiger Shanks, ladies and gentlemen, is off the board. So at 5th overall, Tiger Shanks, offensive line, has been selected. We had him at number 7 in our CFL mock draft. Wow. We knew Tiger Shanks was going to go first round. We knew he was going to go in the first round. Good question here by Colin. I like this one. Do you think Nathan Rourke could have had any success in the NFL if given a fair shot? I think so. Now, I don't want to dig into like any Ed Hervey superstar talk here. I don't even want to bring that up. We're not going to go there. But I will say I do think that Nathan Rourke, if he had been given the right opportunity, I think when you look at, even then, when you look at the scenarios that he was thrown into, like, playing behind Trevor Lawrence, it's really tough. And when you're a starter and you have to go to backup, it's really tough to make that adjustment and to be happy with it. Like, like when you see what Nathan Rourke did with the BC Lions, when you're a competitor, you want to play. He could just make money and sit as a backup and fight for that practice roster opportunity and kind of go through those motions. Even Chris Strebler saw some playing time and some opportunity here and there. But yes, I do think that Nathan Rourke could have had some form of success in the NFL if the opportunity would have been better. That whole New England scenario and him kind of going there near the arse end of the season, that was a bit weird. Didn't really have too much for opportunity there. I don't know if it was at the end of the season or what. Pretty sure it was end of season. He had some form of opportunity there, just wasn't the right one. I want to say at some point Jets also had him on, or not Jets, Giants had him on the roster as well. All right, we got some Herd Chat comments here. What's up, everybody? Thanks a lot for tuning in today. You would think the CFL would show their own draft on CFL Plus for the fans outside of Canada, right? Correct. Yes, I do think that. Very surprising that they have not revived Aces. Very surprised. I thought that this would be on CFL Plus. Hey, if you're American and you're tuning into this watch party right now, let us know. Is it or is it not on CFL Plus? We're hearing it's not. We're in Canada. We get it on TSN. So very wild. Very wild. Jaden Gursey, what up, Jaden? Top 3 guys you're surprised haven't went yet. Connor Shea, yeah, Darian Newell, and Jackson Finley. That's the straight up top 3 off of our mock draft. I mean, for the sake of defensive line, Jeremiah Ojo, I would have expected him to go. Yeah, I mean, really, Keelan White, Tiger Shanks, and Damian Alford are really the only guys in our projected mock draft that have gone so far in the CFL draft. So very, very interesting. Yeah, teams are definitely going a little bit more off the board and going specifically, let's say, for how players did in interviews. I think at this point, when we're looking at this and, you look at your hard stat, which is our mock draft. In our mock draft, we're going strictly by, hard stats. Where should these guys go based on performances and things like that? Combine performance, XYZ. This shows that the interviews have made a really big difference here. However, these guys interviewed with these teams, some of them have made a bigger impact than others. It's very, very interesting to see, I think. Revive Aces here in the Herd Chat. It's not on CFL Plus. I also feel like they could have pushed it better to gain more exposure before the season starts. I agree. I'll agree with that. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the promotion could have been a little bit better. It is slightly promoted, but it should be on CFL Plus. This still involves, like, let's say, American teams. Some of these guys did play for CFB and NCAA teams. So, there is, and also the CFL has been talking about for years about how they want this product to bleed over into America. They're doing Sunday games now. There's CBS Sports is in the mix for broadcasting rights. So if you're trying to expand to the States, why wouldn't you have the CFL draft on CFL Plus for free for Americans? It just makes sense. Half the CFL season happens when the NFL season doesn't. So, even CFL regular season is more entertaining than NFL preseason. Can I get an amen? Like, I'm just saying, and I go Pack. I'm a big Packers fan. Love watching NFL. Love waking up on a Sunday and watching NFL. I still prefer to watch CFL in season. So, yeah, very interesting. I do think that is a bit of a miss. Marketing could be better as well. What I will say, the 4 o'clock start time, which out here it's 4 o'clock. In BC, it's 3 o'clock. So people have not even made it home. If you're really trying to build up, let's say, even just the product of the CFL draft, this does nothing. Connor Shea has just been taken at long last. Winnipeg, of all teams, have selected at 6th overall, Connor Shea. Take him off the board. So yeah, Connor Shea has been invited to New York Jets minicamp. Had some pretty good stats here. Let's read off Connor Shea's stats. Connor Shea was projected to go first overall on many mock drafts, many lists. So 49 games at linebacker and special teams, 97 tackles, 7.5 for loss, 1.5 sacks, 1 interception in his NCAA career. University of Wyoming. Crazy. So Connor Shea is finally off the board. Dynamic linebacker. The guy's fast. It's like watching a shark. It's a little bit like watching Joe DeBlanco, I'd say. Like a shark with legs. A little bit terrified when that guy's running at you. Yeah, it's just that Connor Shea might end up playing in the NFL or at least making it to the practice roster. A lot of these teams selecting today, they want more of an instant impact. They don't necessarily want to wait for a guy, right? I get it. I think that was a very good pick by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I don't see why you wouldn't make that pick. Connor Shea's still on the board. You grab him. I have a feeling that the Argonauts or the Stamps might have grabbed him either way at number 7 or number 8, respectively. I think that might have been a possibility, right? So maybe the Bombers just really didn't want Connor Shea to make it all the way down there, especially doing any favors. I don't think Winnipeg wants to do the Toronto Argonauts any favors right now. I wonder why. Might have to do with the fact that the Argonauts beat them last year in the Grey Cup. Could be that. So there you have it. Connor Shea, linebacker, selected at number 6 by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And now the Toronto Argonauts are on the clock. Very exciting. Kevin Mattel ended up getting selected last year in the first round, made an impact in that same Grey Cup game we watched last year. Imagine being selected. Imagine being selected by a Grey Cup winning team and winning a cup all within a year. That would be wild. That would be wild. Revive Aces here in the Herd Chat. Timing is perfect. The CFL regular season starts not long after the end of UFL season ends and before NFL and CFB seasons. They have that whole window for people who want to watch football. And I agree. You know, UFL season, that's actually a thing now, right? It has been for a couple years now. Spring football, the spring leagues, however you want to look back at it. It's been a thing now for 4 to 5 years. So you do have that gap of no football, and some people do want to watch football all year round. I don't blame them. I'm one of those. One of our shows here on Shotgun Sports Network, The Forge, covering those Birmingham Stallions. We've covered the Birmingham Stallions three-peat. Crazy to see. I mean, if I were to talk about anything about those Stallions right now, it would be about their attendance. You get a three-peat, and you can't seem to bring in more than 10,000 fans to your stadium. I do think that that's a little bit concerning. But yeah, I mean, it's CFL season works perfect. It's beautiful weather out here. Of course, near the playoffs, it gets really frosty, but you get some of the best summer days out at your favorite CFL stadium. It's an absolute blast. I love it. There's nothing more I want to worry about now, especially watching the draft, wearing this gear. There's nothing more that I want than a cold, frosty beverage in Commonwealth Stadium, cheering on the double E. Green or gold till we're dead and cold. It's just nothing like it. Nothing like it. I do kind of wonder why the NFL doesn't have their season right in the summer, but it also does make a little bit of sense. Besides, it is also nice having a little bit of a summer life, not missing games because you're going on holidays or whatever. I get it. Season does pick up pretty quick for the NFL in around August. The July, August, you start to see your preseason, and then regular season comes quick. By then, usually by Labor Day, we find out if any of our Canadians or if any of our former CFL players are coming back up north. Am I wrong, or does Sean Burke just look unimpressed all the time? It just kind of like looks a little bit unimpressed. I don't know. I could be wrong. I think today he's pretty impressed. Keelan White. It's a great pickup for them. All right, what do we got for our official draft tracker? Let's go check it out, shall we? CFL Draft Track. So to give everybody a recap of the draft picks so far from the official CFL website. Taking forever here. We're eating up all of the bandwidth we have in this building right now. Alrighty. Or maybe the CFL website's down right now. Wouldn't that be nice? It is being overloaded. Could you imagine? Ah, here we go. We got some progress. Yeah. Calgary Stampeders. So once again, going through our selections already. First round, Calgary Stampeders, Damien Alford, wide receiver, Utah. Second overall, Hamilton Tiger Cats, Devin Verisek, linebacker, Windsor. Third overall, Ottawa Redblacks, Keelan White, wide receiver, Montana. Number 4, at fourth overall, Saskatchewan Roughriders, Ali Saad, D-line, Bowling Green State. At number 5, Montreal Alouettes, selected, it's not showing it here, I want to say Tiger Shanks. So where Tiger Shanks went. At number 6 overall, we know that Connor Shea ended up going. At number 7 overall, oh, and the pick is in for Toronto. He picked up Ojo. There you have it. At number 7 overall, Jeremiah Ojo, defensive line for the Montreal Caravan of Montreal, Quebec, of course. Yeah, Quebec has been on the rise as a bit of a force for the CFL and for Canadian football. I believe they ended up, I want to say they ended up winning the Canada Cup not long ago, or came very close to winning the Canada Cup. They've been contenders. Quebec is on the rise, especially too when you take a look at, let's say the Vanier Cup. They are almost always contenders, especially the Montreal Caravan. So yeah, Jeremiah Ojo at 7th overall. Huge pickup. Number 7 overall, Jeremiah Ojo. Yeah, last year in the Band-Aid Cup, it was Laval. Montreal Carabin are almost always in the conversation. So yeah, the Quebec's on the rise up. It's a fantastic province for football players. Crazy. So in our mock draft, Jeremiah Ojo went 5th overall. The official results, as per right here, 7th overall. Wild. So I would assume here that we're going to get our 8th pick, and we might also get the 2nd round here. We'll see if they are going to draft, do the draft for the 2nd overall as well. This is on until 6 o'clock. We may stop this episode, this broadcast here, after the 1st round, or maybe even just after the Edmonton Elks selection. Having a good time with you guys so far. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I apologize for the extreme amount of halls used in this episode. Unfortunately, it seems like every year I am ill for our CFL draft special. Just the way it goes. We're a little bit used to it now. Once again, big thanks to everybody for tuning in. Really disappointed that Americans do not get the CFL draft this year on CFL Plus. It does not make any sense to me. Very bizarre. One more pick in the 1st round, everybody. They are going to commercial break. The Calgary Stampeders are once again on the clock. Must be nice. You know, out of all years for the Edmonton Elks to try to do good, to try to do better, it's a darn shame. Darn shame that Calgary had to suck and get 2 picks this year. Damian Alford was a correct one. Damian Alford was projected to get selected by Stampeders Roundup. Unfortunately, it was just 8th instead of 1st. Lots of shock this year. Last year, it was very obvious that Joel DeBlanco was going 1st overall. So. Alrighty, just looking through here, just checking something out real quick. Chat, let us know. What do you think? Are there any shockers right now? Are you surprised? Are you surprised in the order in which players have gone so far? I will say I'm slightly surprised. I thought Connor Shea was definitely going to go first 3. Fantastic time of year. Always a blast. I am curious to see. I'd like to know. We might not make it there on this episode, but curious to see. Who do you think the Edmonton Elks should select at 10th overall? At this rate, I'm saying if Hayden Harris is still available, we want Hayden Harris. Jackson Finley's still available. I might even take Jackson Finley. If Darian Newell is still available, I take Darian Newell. I would take any of those three. And right now, one of those three is going to be available at that 10th overall selection. Okay, there we have it. Christopher Fortin has been selected. Offensive line, 300 pounds, 6'5", Saint Rene, Quebec, played for UConn. Christopher Fortin off the board at number 8. Montreal Alouettes or Alouettes Central in our mock draft took him at number 14. So once again, is it those interviews that are playing a role? Are these player interviews playing a role in where these players are getting selected? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. This is very interesting. This is a lot different from where we selected in our mock draft. Very, very interesting. And we all kind of have the same cheat sheets. We all have the same information. We all thought that these guys were going to go at different spots. So very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Christopher Fortin is off the board. Now I'm curious. Now I'm probably going to stick around. Now we're gonna keep this feed live. Keep this feed going. Yeah, we might keep this feed going if they do so choose to show the second round. I would like to see what the Edmonton Elks select. Good to get a little live reaction in there. CFL fans, football fans, what do you think? What do you think of that first round? Christopher Fortin at number 8 to finish it off. Wow. Very interesting. So now for sure we have Darian Newell, Jackson Finley, and Hayden Harris all available for the Edmonton Elks to take. In our mock draft, these guys are all 2, 3, and 4, respectively. The Edmonton Elks could take one of these guys. As you can see, we have moving boxes. We're moving here right away. We're moving tomorrow, literally tomorrow. So thanks a lot for dealing with this impromptu setup here. Really thankful for you guys tuning in today. So yeah, so Edmonton would have went third, by the way. Colin Chase, I'm not sure if you're still here in the stream, but Edmonton would have went third this year. Would have had Ali Saw. And now Jim Barker's on TV. I don't know if that's a good thing. Jim Barker has Hayden Harris going at 10th overall. Jackson Finley, Jalen Smith, Hayden Harris, all available. Darian Newell, also available. Pierre Beret is it Beret or Beret? Sorry, Pierre. At the end of the first round, our pick of Zach Mathis looks really good. You know what? I'm going to agree, especially if there's a massive drop off after Keelan White. If Keelan White is potentially up there with Zach Mathis, I'm not going to say no. Curly Gittens Jr. is a CFL draft guy, and guess what? He's on the Edmonton Elks right now and absolutely slaying it. Zach Mathis can also slay it. He needs a little bit of development, but you know what happens if Curly Giddens Jr. isn't on the team next year or the year after? You're going to want a Zach Mathis in that spot, somebody that's come up and learned off the system, somebody that's also a ratio breaker, a Canadian, right? It makes sense. It's I think that looking at this first round, are we going to miss? And once again, that was something that somebody had asked earlier on in the show. How much are we going to miss that pick? Looking at it, I don't know if we miss it that bad. I don't know if we miss it that bad. Zach Mathis is already getting acclimated. He's already had half a year of progress with the team. Are we going to miss it that bad? Chris Jones might have made a good gamble. Chris Jones wasn't actually. I'll say this: there were some parts of Chris Jones that were good, and there were some of them that were bad. As a GM, the guy could definitely build a roster. I think he was decent at building a roster. Sometimes coaching it, not necessarily the greatest. Made a couple bonehead decisions. I also don't think anybody should be wearing 6 hats either. Or sorry, not 6, but 3 hats. Chris Jones wearing 3 hats, that also wasn't good either. So it's nice now to see a properly structured front office and training staff and coaching staff with the Edmonton Elks. Very, very excited this year to see what Mark Killam can do. I think there's definitely hope with this team. Once again, getting back to Zach Mathis, I think Zach Mathis is also going to make an impact on this team a little bit. Joe DeBlanco would like to see him make more of an impact with the team, if only he gets utilized in more ways than just simply special teams. Because he was definitely a big special teams guy last year. All right. And then there's a commercial for Pooforia. What? What? I don't know if our coverage ends here. I don't know if we're gonna get the second round right away. I don't know if this is gonna be a giant preview. I don't remember how it went last year. No clue. So how are we feeling, everybody? Lots of shockers, no shockers. Throw it in the herd chat. Let us know. I personally think that there's a couple shocks. I think there's a little bit of shock this year. I thought Connor Shea was definitely going to go closer to first overall. I didn't think that he was going to go 6th. Tiger Shanks moved up. Keelan White moved up. Damien Alfred moved from 8th to 1st from our mock draft. TSN, are we going to get the second round? Would we use a pick to take another Canadian quarterback in this draft? Elgersma. And see, that's something that I had thought about in the mock draft. I really wanted to pick up either Rourke or Elgersma, but then you have to consider the fact that Trey Ford is there. Elgersma, if you draft him and he ends up playing for your team in a year or two, he's going to want to be the starter. That's the tough part. The Edmonton Elks are not in a position to cheese off Trey Ford after screwing him around for basically 3 years. I don't think that that's good for business. I don't think that's good for the fan base. I don't think that that's going to work. Now, As far as like a bargaining chip, I could see that. Maybe, picking up Elgersma and then trading him for some assets. Try to get some more picks. Try to get some players in return for Elgersma. I mean, that might be the move. It's also not a good way to kind of waste a pick on a potential generational quarterback. Oh, here we go. We're gonna go up to number 10 here today, guys. They're selecting, guys and girls, everybody. They're gonna be selecting here number 9, Isaiah Bagna from Lethbridge, defensive lineman for BYU. Isaiah Bagna. Where do we have him in our draft? All right, this is our first completely off the board pick. So Bagna was not even on our mock draft radar for the first 3 rounds. This is where it gets wild. This is where it gets wild. Completely off the board. Now, once again, that was a defensive lineman, I want to say. Yeah, a lot of seeing a little bit of variety here, if anything. Seeing a little bit of variety, but defensive lineman for sure. I want to say that's 3 defensive linemen now within the top 10. So yeah, Pierre, I do want to get back to this question. Would we use a pick to take another Canadian quarterback in this draft? I personally do not think that the Edmonton Elks will. I don't think it's smart to either. Now, let's say if we're talking about like 2 years ago, or almost, I don't know, or maybe like 3 or 4 years down the road from now, who knows how the Trey Ford story goes? Nobody knows the ceiling. That's the favorite thing to say here in Edmonton. I would have loved Elgersma to pop up then. Because whoever selects him, they will have to wait a little bit. He might be a backup in the NFL for a couple years. He might be that fringe PR guy. I do think Elgersma is going to be coming back up to Canada. I think Curtis Work has a better chance of sticking in the NFL. For sure. Curtis Work is already showing to be, a better quarterback than, let's say, his brother Nathan Rourke. And that would be for American football, not necessarily Canadian football. So, what's more riskier? Is it selecting Elgersma or is it selecting Curtis Ward? What's the riskier play here? I don't know. Edmonton Elks are on the clock. Getting back to that conversation though, I think Elgersma might be playing in the CFL faster than Curtis Rourke, but it might be only by like a year or 2. I think they'll both equally kind of find their footing back into the CFL or into the CFL, kind of in a similar time frame. I think within a year or 2. Could be wrong though. Curtis Rourke might stick down there. Elgersma may come up. It might also be the opposite too. Maybe Elgersma sticks down in the NFL. Maybe Curtis Rourke comes up. We really don't know. Nathan Rourke did. We do have to keep in mind Nathan Rourke had to cut his teeth in the CFL in order to get that NFL opportunity. Curtis Rourke is already drafted into the NFL. The door has already been opened significantly wider for Curtis Rourke, younger brother of Nathan Rourke. Elgersma also has camps already lined up, but his name will be called today. All right. Double E on the clock. This is it. Let's go, Elks. What do we got? Who are the Edmonton Elks selecting at 10th overall? At this point, we did have Ali Saad in that spot. Obviously, Ali Saad has already been taken. Now, there are quite a bit of picks here. Talking about 9 more picks after this. So we are going to cut this one after the Edmonton Elks selection. Big thanks to everybody for tuning in tonight. This is like the grand finale for us. We had to wait last year. We got to be all excited and blow up, and we got Joel DeBlanco. Very, very exciting. Only for him to make 2 tackles on the season. So we want to see our first overall from last year get utilized a heck of a lot better in 2025. That's for sure. How easy is that going to be when you have the rookie, most outstanding rookie, and pretty much defense of the year, defender of the year, most outstanding defensive player? I don't think he's ever gotten that title officially, Niles Morgan, but I'd love to see it. The guy is a beast. It would be smart to go with a DB for injury backups. Yes, Pierre, I like that. Like that a lot. I want Jackson Finley in that case. Pick up Jackson Finley, guys. Oh, here we go. Darian Newell, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Projected number 2 on our mock draft. Slipped right down. Frampton, played for Queens. 289 pounds, 6'3", Darian Newell. Let's go. Ranked number 8 by the CFL Scouting Bureau. Went 2nd overall in our CFL mock draft. Go Elks, you know it. Let's go. Sorry, getting a little bit excited here. You know it, Revive Aces. Let's go. That is a good pick. I'm going to say D-line. And that's exactly what we wanted. Coming into today's draft, my 3 picks, D-line, O-line, DB. Defensive back, defensive line, offensive line. Want picks in that range. We got a good one from Queens. Just got a good one from Queens here. That's a good pick in my opinion. Beautiful pick. Darian Newell, once again, this guy was 2nd overall in our mock draft. 8th in the CFL Scouting Bureau. Number 10 overall, selected by the Edmonton Elks. Number 1 in our hearts today, okay? Crazy. Let's go, Darian Newell. Welcome to the herd, buddy. Let's go. Double E represent. Green and gold till we're dead and cold. You already know what it is, Revive Aces. Pierre in the herd chat. Newell, great pick at number 10. I have to agree. Next one would have been Jackson Finley and then Hayden Harris. That's where I had, the priority list. Darian Newell was definitely somebody it's on record. We're here. We got it on here. Crazy pick at number 10. There you have it. So the Edmonton Elks, I know that the Elks got the post up everywhere right now. Darian Newell from Queens. Big body D-line. Yeah, and a good chance to start for us this year for sure. Also depends on injuries, Pierre. If we see any injuries this year, he's going to be able to slot in. We have Canadians on the D-line. So we can supplant, if we get an injury on the D-line, we don't have to worry about fudging the ratio. We don't have to worry about, we got to place an American there. No. And I haven't quite figured out exactly if he's a tackle, a guard, tackle, pass rush. I have the volume off here for copyright purposes, just in case CFL or the TSN or TSN want to come at us on this feed. So I've definitely dummied down the volume here. But that's one heck of a pick. One heck of a pick. This is amazing. Awesome. Well, gang, it's almost been an hour and a half. This was a fantastic CFL Draft special with you all. D tackle, thank you, Pierre. Appreciate it. Thank you. Tells you exactly where he's going to be able to slot in on the line. So very cool. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in today. This was our 2025 CFL Draft Special. They still got like a half an hour to an hour to go of this. There's still quite a few picks here in this second round. I have a feeling they're going to get cut off because there's a lot of hockey on tonight. We got quite a bit of event. Yeah, so huge night for hockey, huge night for the CFL, huge night for the Edmonton Elks, okay? Darian Newell, welcome to the herd. Very huge. D-line, D-tackle from Queens. Very awesome. So if anybody is interested in seeing our CFL mock draft results, you can head on over to Instagram and go check out Alouettes Central. It's also on our story as well, but go check out Alouettes Central on Instagram. And you can see our mock draft and compare it to, you know, what's happening right now live on the CFL draft. We're going to let everybody get back to their nights and get back to this draft. We're going to let you all go. Once again, thank you so much for watching. The Elks Call returns on May 7th. We're going to be back live. We're working on a very, very big guest from the Edmonton Elks for our Season 3 premiere. So make sure you stay tuned. May 7th, 8:30 p.m. only on Shotgun Sports Network. Once again, my name is Scout, a.k.a. the rep from Section X from the Elks Herd, and we can't thank you all enough for tuning into our episode today. Thanks again. Cheers, everybody. Oh, and go Elks.